created to provide relief and information on daily psychological, emotional, and spiritual stresses,
while addressing compassion fatigue and secondary trauma for helpers and healers.
This is Project H3.
Welcome to Project H3. I'm Chisa.
I'm Kara.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Brenda.
Together, we're Project H3. Before COVID-19 hit, we set out to find a way to keep healers and helpers from burnout, which ultimately leads them to leaving the occupation that they're in. Working in a high-stress environment, it requires self-care so that we can maintain and keep doing what we're doing and helping others. That's the thing that is the least thing that's thought of, self-care. That's why we at Project H3 have taken this upon ourselves. We must take intentional steps to take care of the only body and mind that we get. So let's talk about a couple of things. Why do you want, or what do you want your audience to understand about Project H3?
Well, for me, I've seen that in our society and the cultures that we live in, there's still a lot of shame internally within ourselves and externally, those around us, about mental illness and mental health issues. And I feel like we created Project H3 to raise awareness of that importance of good mental hygiene. And that also would help reduce the stigma that keeps people from acknowledging that they are having struggles and then seeking the help that they need.
Perfect. For me, what I want the audience to understand is that we're real people living real lives. We are different ages, genders, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different ethnicities, different beliefs, but one thing that unites us is helping others, specifically those at risk for high stress occupations and or roles that could lead eventually to burnout.
Yeah, and I just want everyone to know that we are all in helping professions ourselves, different ones, but I wish that I had had someone when I started in the social work field to help me understand more about what compassion fatigue and burnout look like. And I think every one of us in this group has experienced some level of that ourselves. So we just want to bring our own experiences and our own expertise to help you.
And for me, based on my personal and professional experience with compassion fatigue, also known as burnout, I realized that there's a real lack of awareness and understanding of the insidious nature, long-term and intense stress, and the debilitating effects and consequences that stress has on individuals. I've experienced compassion fatigue several times and recognized that I was not aware this build up to a point where my body and mind no longer were functional.
Thanks, Mark. Group, what is mental hygiene? What is it to you?
For me, mental hygiene is an awareness that the brain is an organ, like any other organ in our body. And so as a diabetic needs to look at their diet and blood sugars and do certain things to remain healthy, we need to care for our brains as well in order to maintain good mental health. And that means even if we're in a good mental health status, we need to maintain that. But when our brains malfunction, we have to realize that there are methods of treatment and ways that we can do self-care that will help us to maintain and improve our mental health and our mental status.
Agreed. Mental hygiene to me is proactively trying to preserve your overall psychological well-being. Basically, it's just making sure that you're mindful of your own feelings internally as well as externally, taking action before your cup is overflowing, putting your life and situation into perspective, and basically just making sure that if and or when you do experience something that you're unable to move past, that you take steps to address it. And that's what we here at Project H3 are going to do for you.
Yeah, and mental hygiene is a daily, weekly, monthly practice, and that practice will look different for everyone. For me personally, it includes exercise, getting outside, spending time with my family, my boys, my dog. And for you, it may be something different, but we want to provide everyone with multiple tools and resources so that you can find what works best for you for your daily practice as well.
For me, mental hygiene is developing an awareness of the processes that long-term and intense stress result in an impact both on mind and body.
Mhm.
Mental hygiene is about learning and practically applying the skill sets necessary to intervene and manage these internal processes in order to prevent proactively the debilitating effects of compassion fatigue.
I like it. If you guys could give one motivational or inspirational piece of advice to your audience, what would that be?
Well, for me, what I've seen is that when people are at the bottom, everything looks dark, and it's hard to remember that things will improve. But it's important to remember that there were good times before this dark time, and there will be good times in the future.
For me, coming from a different type of upbringing, I want everybody to know that don't let circumstances define who you are, and don't let your environment dictate your attitude. We have so much to be grateful for, even if it's just the little things, but know that life is not about the prettiest clothes or the flashiest cars. It's about making this world a better place because you are in it. So smiles are free, and we don't have to pay to laugh. So just remember that this time that we are experiencing is trying to take control over our lives. Take back control over COVID-19 by practicing mental hygiene with Team H3.
Yeah, and because we're in such a difficult time, and as a therapist, I just can't help myself. I just want everyone to know that it is okay to not be okay right now. That it is completely normal to feel uncertainty, feel anxious and frustrated with all the things that have changed, all of our unknowns for the future. And we are going to offer you tools and things to help you through those frustrations, through that uncertainty. But it is completely human and completely normal to feel those feelings. And it's important that we don't run away from them when we feel them.
For me, mental hygiene is a management issue. It's really about good self-care, which is vital to developing and maintaining healthy mental hygiene. Good self-care is already acknowledged as vital for preventing disease, slowing aging, and enjoying life.
So in one word, why do you believe in Project H3?
Awareness.
Positivity.
Community.
And compassion.
We are Project H3. We're doctors, we're professors, we're nurses, we're therapists, the four of us. We are husbands, wives, mothers, daughters, sons, brothers, sisters. We are family, and we are here for you. Bye.
Bye.
Go on.